All right. Okay. How's it going, everyone? I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend, the Rosh Man, aka the Persian sex king or prince, as I and a lot of people know him. Just want to point out that fucking shit is trademarked, and if I ever hear somebody using that, they're fucked. Anyways, I'm here interviewing you. Basically, I want to get into your mind a little bit, talk about self-development and kind of what got you in there, and get into that a little bit. I've known you for like a little over 4 years now. I've come to you with fucking so many problems, so much issues in my life, ups and downs. But consistently, you've always been on this kind of path and journey about self-development. So I know you've talked about it briefly in a lot of your videos, but I kind of just want to get the story or an event. What got you into self-development?
A self-development journey, it started when I moved here, and certain things wasn't making sense. Like, for example, I couldn't maintain close relationships with people. I couldn't, get a girlfriend. I couldn't, I lacked motivation. I had mood swings. I was like, I had like depressive kind of moods all the time. So I was like, what's wrong with me? Is there something wrong with me? Or is there something wrong with the world? Because at this point, I was really pointing the finger at the world at that point. I was looking for so many things to blame, like blame my life for what happened here, or what happened there. And eventually I got to a point where I just got sick of blaming external things. But I was so good at it back then because I'm creative, so I'm able to just make shit up. Like I'm able to creatively convince myself that things like I'm able to creatively blame external factors for why I am where I am.
Making elaborate stories and shit.
Elaborate stories. And I was really good at making elaborate stories.
Yeah, some schizo shit right there.
But so it got to a point where finally I hit an age where I'm just like, okay, dude, do I keep on making excuses or do I want to succeed? Do I actually want to get somewhere with my life? And that's when I started my journey of self-development. That's when I actually started reflecting and actually started to take accountability, started to read books, and started to realize that it wasn't the world that was the problem. It was the lens that I was viewing the world through that was the problem. It wasn't the people that I got into fights with. It wasn't the employer I hated. It wasn't my neighbor. It wasn't all these people. It was myself all along. I was creating all of these blockages in my life. Right. I was mainly the one stepping in my own way. So I would say that's kind of what I meant by like things weren't adding up, and that's kind of started that journey.
Right. So that, like, obviously that must have been a fucking shock to the system, because like moving out and now you're seeing all these people fucking do all these things that you aren't able to do in this moment. Obviously you probably have been, like you said, you were going through some depressive moods and stuff. So that's what started it. So when you first took this like step into self-improvement, trying to better yourself as an individual, like what did you do first, or how did you, like, what tools did you use, or first like think, okay, I want to be better. I want to turn into the Persian sex prince. What do I got to do first? What did you do first?
That's a good question. So first thing for sure that I did was I started journaling, because during this time, like I said, I didn't have a social life. I didn't have friends. I didn't have a girlfriend. I didn't have anybody to talk to. I didn't have access to therapy. And I was a pretty closed off guy. I had a really hard time letting people in. So when I would be working during the day, I'd be cutting hair, I'd be talking to clients, but it was mainly like surface level, I would say. I had a hard time being vulnerable with people. I never wanted to show people I'm struggling. I always wanted to put up that front like I'm good.
Right.
The first thing I did was I started journaling, because that's all I was able to do, like at home. So that was the start of my self-improvement journey, was actually just whenever I have a problem, I'm at home by myself. When I would feel too overwhelmed in my mind, I would just open up my journal. I'd start journaling. And sometimes just journaling was able to help me be able to connect the dots.
Right.
And so once I started to be able to connect the dots, it started to just become addicting from that point.
Right. And then like, obviously, you've recommended me a ton of fucking books to read and stuff. Was that the next step in your like kind of development, like self-development journey, was reading and like actually gaining knowledge at that point?
Yeah. Because I did watch a lot of YouTube videos too. And YouTube videos, they're good, but it was through YouTube and through the people I was watching on YouTube that I started getting recommended to read books. And I would say...
Were you watching like Gary Vee and shit?
No, not Gary Vee wasn't so much my type. I would say I was more like Jordan Peterson or
Jordan Peterson, yeah.
More like psychology, philosophy. But yeah, because I realized, it got to a certain point where I realized like journaling helps, but I don't have all the answers myself. Like I need reading books help me get like a broader view of life. I was reading certain books, for example, that was written by guys that was going through the same thing I was going through.
Yeah.
But they've been through it, and now they wrote a book on it, and so they're pretty much telling you the blueprint.
What was the first book that you read that you like kind of remember that was like, okay, this is like really like this book first helped me and then kind of led you on to reading?
Yeah.
Do you remember which one it was?
Yeah, I remember the exact book. I don't remember how I came across it. I think I was just on YouTube. Like I don't know how I came across this book, but it's by Wayne Dyer. He's like probably one of my favorite like authors or like spiritual teachers.
That's how you know you're not capping. You know the fucking author, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Name.
Yeah.
Wayne Dyer.
Yeah, shout out to Wayne Dyer.
Yeah. But yeah, it's one of his books. It's called, I still have like the actual physical copy of the book too. I don't know if I should. I'm going to put the book on the video here. I don't really remember the exact name, but it was the audiobook version of it. But I remember he narrates it himself too. And I remember at that time I was going through like a breakup at the time. And like I said, like for me, I don't have, or if I did have people to talk to, I wasn't willing to. I wasn't that kind of guy. So during this time, when I was listening to that book, and I don't know why, it was just like the moment in my life, it just fit perfectly, where it was just kind of like everything all together just kind of gave me like that aha moment. You know?
And we had this conversation too, where I asked you as well, like, how do you differentiate between like good or like good information or bad information? I phrase it as advice, but like you're saying within reason, like how do you know what's within reason in that point? Be open to everything. Could there be a point where you're a little too open to everything? Because what if somebody just starts saying some bullshit and you're like, oh fuck, like you're retarded?
Yeah. I mean, like being open to everything doesn't mean that you have to necessarily believe everything, but just being open to hearing it. But it's still your job to actually sit down and critically think and decipher whether you want to take that or not. See, if you're listening to a bunch of things, but you're not actually sitting down and filtering what you're listening to, then you're fucked, I think.
Yeah.
Because then you're just taking everything in, and that happens a lot with people who are going like TikTok and like social media nowadays. Bro. There's so much taking in, but there's not enough reflecting and filtering. So
mom's on Facebook, bro. Listen to fucking everything.
Exactly, dude. Even me, like when I go on TikToks all day, like I find like by the end of the day, my subconscious is so much stored with so much information that I don't even know how it got there.
Yeah.
And I haven't even filtered it out. So my mind is just kind of like thinking about random shit now.
Yeah. Fuck. That's. And I remember when I first met you, like literally first met you. I remember it was a fucking haircut, and our mutual buddy, Mama Faizan.
That's when he came late, right?
Yeah, he came a fucking hour late. And he kept telling Roshi, yo, I'm going to be there in 10 minutes, and an hour fucking later, bro, fucking... I
think they were helping your dad move or something? Were they helping you guys move?
No, it was fucking bullshit. He lied.
Oh, shit.
Bro,
holy shit.
I was helping my dad move. But I don't know if it was cutting into the time. But anyways, we're a fucking hour late. The first thing you asked me was about meditation. Because I remember I told you that my dad meditated. And then I kind of like picked up on it too. That was like kind of that initial interaction. Yeah. Would you say that has kind of helped you in your self-development journey and like meditation, stuff like this? Because, you know, in today's we're on TikTok, we're doom scrolling, we're doing a whole bunch of shit. Is that kind of a good practice to use for this?
Yeah, big time. I mean, for me, I'm going to be honest, sometimes it's hard to meditate just because I feel like I'm so productivity based, where like I'm always like go, get shit done, you know? So for me, when I'm in that work mode, meditation sometimes comes off as like a hindrance or like in my way or like something that's pretty much holding, it almost feels like an obstacle sometimes to do it.
Yeah.
But I always regret it after, like, by not doing it. I realized that meditation, mindfulness, being grounded is the base of everything. It's the foundation to everything. Like, when I'm not grounded through meditation, mindfulness, prayer, whatever it is, like, that productivity, it's not going to be clear-minded. It's going to be very scatterbrained. You think, it's like an illusion. You think that you're actually getting a lot done. You're doing a lot, you're wasting a lot of energy, but you're not really working effectively. I feel like when your mind is just cluttered and it's, you know, it's a mess. I mean, even yesterday, like it's like an ongoing thing. And this is like another thing I'm going to talk about too, where like there was a time in my life where I thought that when I reach a certain spiritual level or I reach a certain level of mindfulness that I'm good and I'm set there. And like once I achieve it, I'm good. But I realized that it's something that you have to like maintain all the time. You have to consistently meditate. You have to consistently pray because, like for example, like yesterday I was very scatterbrained. Like I went, I came here to do some writing. I was planning on doing some writing. And as I was writing, I just couldn't focus. My mind was just like overthinking and just random thoughts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I went from that to like, okay, maybe I should read a little bit. Open the book, try to read a couple pages.
Yeah.
Can't focus on the words. Like, like sometimes when you read and like you read like 2 pages and you don't even remember what you read.
Yeah, it was your brain was on autopilot, basically.
Literally, yeah. So that happened. And then I was like, okay, maybe writing and boring is not the time for me right now. Maybe I should do some drawing. So I started drawing. And I just kept messing up. And when I just sat there for a second and I just was thinking and I'm like, what is going on inside my mind right now?
Yeah, like holy fuck, I'm doing 3 different tasks.
I'm thinking about the most random shit while I'm doing all this stuff. I just wasn't focused basically what I was trying to say. And the reason I wasn't focused was because my mind was cluttered because I haven't been meditating or practicing mindfulness.
Yeah.
So
fucking, I mean, obviously, where was I going with this? Hold up, fuck, my bad.
Yeah. I was talking too much. I think you forgot your.
Yeah, I kind of lost track. We're talking about mindfulness, and you fucked up my mindfulness right now. Do you think in your life you would be able to like fully like just be at a space where you're like, I'm like fucking next level yogi. I'm like the fucking guru of mindfulness, or?
I mean, like the only way that's attainable, I think, is if you live the lifestyle of a yogi, which is like living in like the mountains or something, and like just being a monk,
like you shit anywhere like an animal. Just be an animal. Yeah. This next question: how has this like self-development journey kind of like affected your personal life and your business life? Like obviously, for those who don't know, the Rosh Man over here, fucking talented artist, but also amazing barber. Best barber in the fucking city, by the way. Bro, if you need a fucking haircut, go to this guy. Yeah. But how has this kind of journey like affected those 2 aspects of your life? I mean personal, meaning like relationships and stuff.
Oh, I think self-development's like the foundation for sure of both of it. And I think it's helped me with my relationships. It's helped me with the business, because in the end of the day, I feel like what the question you asked me earlier about like what started the whole self-development thing, it was having the wrong perspective on things. And I feel like once you understand like how the mind works and how you can manipulate and change things in the mind, I feel like you can change your reality. You can manipulate reality to whatever way you want it.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you notice now in art, how do you think it's affected your art? Because I know this is a big aspect of your life and your business. Like, how do you think you've gone? Because obviously you've changed. Would you say you've changed your style with art through the self-development, or? Yeah,
like I would say in the beginning when I first started doing art, my style was very vague. I didn't really have a style because I think that expressing myself like truly through my art was too much of like a vulnerable act to do. So in the beginning, it's like when I was a bit more insecure about myself or my self-expression, of course I didn't want to just like make something really genuine at that time, because what if someone says like this shit's ass,
Yeah, it's like oh fuck, dude, this is my whole life right here.
Yeah,
you're calling it ass.
I don't think I would have been able to handle that criticism back then. But I think like through the self-development journey, building confidence, building self-esteem, it's been able to get me to just be more open with expressing myself through art. Also, like I would say a lot of my personal art, you could actually kind of see my self-development journey through.
I was gonna say that too. Actually, you can see like hints of your really like your vulnerable self in a lot of your artwork that people may not see, like the mural on your wall. Yeah. And then that the twins over there as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I could actually bring we can kind of talk about some of these. Well, this kind of art style right here, this was like around that time, most of the artwork I was making was very conscious. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna make this for this reason. Everything had a plan behind it.
Right.
But when I started doing this kind of art style, it was around that time where I was just like, you know what? I'm not even gonna plan what I'm gonna draw. I'm just gonna grab a canvas and I'm just gonna do whatever the hell my heart tells me to do.
Right.
So in the moment, I call this more like subconscious art, because consciously in the moment when I'm making it, I'm not aware of the reasoning behind it. But later, when I actually see the finished piece and I actually start to like look at it, I'm like, none of this is by accident. You know, a lot of this, it was drawn for a reason. I felt like putting the skull here for a reason. I felt like drawing these walls for a reason. There's a purpose behind it.
Yeah.
So after dissecting this painting, dissecting my own like subconscious mind when I was looking at it, basically you see there's flowers, you see tombstones, you see a skull.
Yeah.
If you see a guy actually running in the distance.
Oh
right
yeah,
there.
fuck yeah,
it's a little guy, and the tiles and the walls, it's kind of like wobbly. It's almost like warped. It's like, it's not like, it almost looks like a dreamy kind of distorted kind of like look to it. So what the eye represents is enlightenment, and you have multiple doors in the hallways. Each door represents something different. And then you have like this hand, these two hands, which I don't really know who it belongs to. But
holy fuck, bro! Were you drawing this, or fucking a demon took?
Pedophile uncle.
Yeah, it was your pedophile uncle reaching over to grab your ass. That's why you're sprinting so fast.
So basically, those hands are trying to break the reality and trying to prevent you from getting to that enlightenment. And keep in mind, when I was drawing these drawings, I didn't actually think about this stuff while I was doing it. It's only afterward when I was looking at it when I started to dissect it like that. Okay.
That's an interesting therapy, and this is like more of your like, this is a classic style that you put on a lot of prints, a lot of your shirts and your hoodies. Buy those shits, by the way. This shit's like fucking high quality stuff.
And then up next, we got this one. So this one, it's pretty personal to me. This one.
This is what people thought we were fucking twins at the art walk.
Really? Wait, what do you mean?
You remember? They like, is this you and me?
Oh yeah. That's
Anyways.
funny. But this is pretty personal to me because, like I said, my story when I was 17 years old, when I moved to Edmonton, certain things wasn't adding up in my life, and I blamed the world. You know, there was a lot of relationships I was in at the time where I kind of blamed the other person, or I blamed certain friendships or romantic relationships, or I was always really good at blaming external factors to why I was where I was. But it was only through self-development and the spirituality journey when I realized that it was never really any external factors. It wasn't the people I was in relationships with that was the problem. That most of my issues, it came from myself. That it was actually myself in my own mind that was attacking me most of the time.
This is light and darkness right here. This is some emo shit right there. Look at that fucking the emo paint going down your face right there. And then this is
this one. So you can interpret this one if you want, Gashi.
Okay. Well, you know, if we're being serious, this is like some deep shit. But if I was joking around, it's like you basically are looking for your pedo uncle and he's hiding and he's about to jump at your fucking ass right here.
I'm looking for my pedo uncle, or
yeah. Well, he just got done, or he's you know he's in the house and he's hiding and you're like, fuck, wait, I gotta go find him. Where the fuck is he? Yeah. But on a deeper note though, I guess in this hallway is you going down into your subconscious and your ego is kind of like hiding behind, and this is like your true innocent self that hasn't been perverted by life.
Yeah, actually, well, that was a good interpretation.
This is where you tell me you're fucking wrong. You fucking dumbass. Shut the fuck up.
This hallway, as you can see, kind of gets dark as you go down it. And this is supposed to be kind of like what you said. Child represents innocence. The dark hallway represents corruption or things like that. So as kids, we're all innocent. You know, that's when we're pure. Mm-hmm. And whoever is standing behind the door is the person who was the one who gatekept it, who let you in to that darkness. So that could be whoever, you know, it could be like your pedophile uncle. It could be,
your pedo uncle.
It could be like a bad influence of a friend. It could be a romantic relationship. It could be like that.
Your parents or something.
A parent, a bad role model, whoever it is. But that is the person who led you down the dark hallway. And dark hallway is you basically losing your innocence in the process. Everybody kind of goes through that phase differently, I feel like. For me, there was different situations in my life that got me to go down that hallway. And but yeah, and like I said, this is a period of my art where it was purely just expressing myself. It wasn't so much like I was just doing it from my heart in the moment. So
yeah. So and obviously this is like some very like vulnerable like artwork that you're like presenting. Obviously, I don't know if you were how open you are or you were at that time to like explaining that story to people, but how did you like when did you like decide at that point, or was there like a catalyst to you like being like, okay, I'm gonna start doing art for like my own personal reasons? And
So yeah, so this was around the time in my art career where I was doing a lot of, like I said, I was doing a lot of artwork that wasn't really personal to me. It was very much like fan art, or like fan art, right? Yeah, like famous people and stuff like that.
Steve Jobs over there.
Steve Jobs, yeah. Like famous people, or I was doing a lot of commission work, so I was doing a lot of like customs for people and stuff like that. And during that time, I'm like, I'm not really feeling fulfilled through doing art for that reason.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, it felt very superficial to me. It felt very, I don't know, surface level. You
Yeah.
know? And that's when I was like, you know what, I'm going to start using art as a way to storytell, to share my own personal stories. Because I tried the whole custom artwork, the fan art. It was cool while it lasted. It got me skilled, it got me better, but it was losing that like soul behind it, It
of course.
Losing that like, yeah.
And I can imagine too, like it was obviously feeding some part of your ego, because you're a talented artist, fucking, but like I know probably you've gotten a lot of compliments, even when you're doing the custom work, like Steve Jobs, like that piece has no meaning behind it other than just like it's a statement piece, like
Exactly,
you just want to show people I can fucking do that,
So what's funny is like I actually got way more engagement, likes, compliments on my statement pieces, like the fan art, the art that wasn't really a direct reflection of myself gets more engagement and views on Instagram and all that kind of stuff than my own personal art. I feel like my personal art doesn't really get that much engagement. And that's kind of like the trade-off I feel like as an artist sometimes you have to make. It's like, do you want to make what's popular, or do you want to make what's authentic to you?
Right.
And sometimes what's authentic to you isn't going to get a lot of views or a lot of likes and all that kind of stuff, or it might not sell as much. But you got to just ask yourself, like, what are you in it for? Are you in it for authenticity, or are you in it for like, I guess, just to become more popular? You could also do both. I figured that you don't have to always pick one or the other. You don't have to just be super authentic and not have anyone to buy it, and then you don't have to be like super popular and fake. You can actually mix it both together. But it was during that time when I did make that transition, I did notice quite a drop in like engagement.
Yeah. And obviously in that moment, were you having any like, oh fuck, like what did I do moments, or did you feel like shit, like I probably should go back to doing the fan art and the statement pieces again?
I did go back to it though. Like I don't think I ever fully gave that up.
Right.
I didn't fully give it up, but I don't know, in a way, even though I did go back to that, I always ended up regretting it, I think. So I did learn my lesson by going back, doing that again. But with enough times doing that, I learned my lesson, and I was like, you know what, this is not going to bring me fulfillment. I get way more fulfilled off of my like personal art pieces than just doing fan art or doing customs for people.
And that would have been my next question, actually. What it was going to be, obviously you've been into the self-development journey. You're reading books. You're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing to like better yourself as an individual. How has the art over time kind of changed? How has your style kind of changed? Because I know we've talked about this even during the art walk when we were doing our thing in the tent. You've kind of changed your style a little bit. You want to talk about that a little bit? Or?
Yeah. So I would say before my style was very technical. It was very perfectionist. It was very like, I want this to look perfect. I want there to be no flaws. I would say now my style is more loose. It's more expressive. It's more moody. It's more... There is flaws, but the thing is, the way I do it now, it's like, what makes it good is the flaws.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna put some like photos on it on here too, so you guys can see what I mean. But it's more of like it's more of an expressive style. Before it was very like tedious. Like that AK-47 I did was like supposed to be like an exact replica, so it was very tedious. Everything has to be perfect.
Yeah.
But I kind of got bored of that style. I was like, it's just too like, I don't know.
Plus, we got a lot of comments at the fucking art walk. That one old guy. Yeah. Some old white dude got fucking scared. He's like, what is that supposed to mean? And I was answering it. Rosha gave me full, like, he's like, you just say whatever the fuck you want to say. Because there's no meaning behind the AK-47. This was just a statement piece. And obviously I said some bullshit about it represents freedom. The old guy got pissed off. He's like, I feel sorry for you. And I'm like, I feel sorry for you, dude. You got a fucking breathing tube up your fucking nose. Bro, if I fart in that thing, you'll die, okay? Shut up. But yeah, like, these pieces obviously don't really like it doesn't do anything for you in the sense, kind of like, as opposed to, you know, the actual, like, your passion work, basically.
Yeah. I mean, like, that stuff, it's cool. It's like you get a sense of accomplishment because you're like, holy shit, I made something so realistic. And you get a lot of compliments on it, and people are like, oh, wow, you're so talented and all that kind of stuff. But in the end of the day, it's like, do I get a lot of fulfillment from it? Not anymore as much. I would say I get more fulfillment off of things that are more authentic to me. And
Right.
Yeah.
So if somebody compliments some of the shit that, you know, like, your passion pieces, those compliments must be like, wow, like, that's really what I was looking for.
Yeah. I would equate it to, like, imagine somebody who's like good looking, and all they get complimented on is their looks. But imagine somebody comes along and they're just like, hey, you know what, like, I really like your personality, I really like the way you think. That's a whole different compliment, you know?
Right.
So that's kind of how I feel with the art. It's like the things that I guess are more like statement pieces, you get compliments on those. It's nice, but it's like whatever. But then when you get compliments on things that are authentic to you, it hits different.
Nice. Sure. So kind of now in the self-development journey, another big aspect in your life that you like talking about, that you're really interested in, is spirituality. My question would be, do you follow like a traditional religion, or what's like what the fuck do you believe in, man? Like, do you believe in aliens or some shit? Like, what is this shit?
I didn't really grow up religious. Like, I kind of grew up in a broken family, so I was never raised with like a structured, this is the religion we're going to follow kind of thing. So I didn't really grow up with a spiritual background, but when I got into my adult life, that's when I kind of discovered it on my own through spiritual books. And the books I was reading wasn't any specific religion. It was just spiritual books.
Right.
So I don't know, the more I look into spirituality and religion, I see that they do all teach the same thing. They all have like similar aspects to all of them.
Right.
And you start to see that the universe does have certain laws that everybody abides by, that every religion kind of follows. As of right now, I would say like I'm pretty spiritual, but I wouldn't say I'm religious necessarily.
Yeah, you don't conform to like a specific religion or practice one.
No, but I'm also not educated on any specific religion. So it's not like I'm against any religion. I'm just not educated enough on those religions. I have respect for all religions. I do think that like books like the Bible, the Quran, those are books that have stood the test of time. They've been around forever, and like even to this day, like people are follow it. So that says something about the religions.
Shout out to the Quran.
Exactly. Like these, and one of the biggest things for me, it's like, what books do I like to read? I like to read books that stood the test of time. That meaning that they've been around for so many years now. So many people have read them. So many people, agree with them. So these books, like the Quran, the Bible and stuff, I do intend on reading those books too, because like they've been studied for years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So those are really good books. I just never actually read them. I find I do need to get like a more simpler version to read, I think, because some of them are just harder to understand, I think.
Right.
But no, as of right now, I'm just spiritual. But
do you believe in like a higher power, or like kind of what is your thoughts on that? Like what? Because I know you say spiritual, but like, do you believe in a higher power? What's your belief system with that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like if you ask that question to most people nowadays, very few people would even be able to answer that, just because it's not something that a lot of people even think about. Because if you think about it, like most people, including myself, in our day-to-day lives, we're so busy all the time. We're always so go on our phones, everything. So questions like these, like, do you believe in a higher power? It's a very profound question. It's a very big question, but I feel like that question is a deep question, and I think that it requires like real thought behind it.
You can't stop somebody on the street and be like, do you believe in a higher power? It's like, dude, I'm going to work.
I mean, some people might give you like a surface level answer, but I feel like to really feel that answer, you gotta feel it at a deep level.
Right.
And I think like I'd probably have to go hiking in the woods for like a few days for me to like
on like a bag of shrooms,
like a bag of mushrooms, and like go on like a hike in the mountains.
Bro, you're gonna be fucking butt naked, tripped out, like talking to God in the trees and stuff.
You'll probably never come back.
Yeah, exactly. You'd be gone after that point. This might be the video where we fucking convert Roshi to Islam. If he doesn't, we're beheading him. You won't see him after this fucking video.
But yeah, I would say that's a good question. I do have a belief in it. I wouldn't say it's like I'm still working on that belief.
Yeah. So kind of when it comes to spirituality and stuff, obviously we talked about it, it's really important in the whole self-development kind of, aspect of your life. Was there a specific self-development book, or a spiritual book that kind of was really profound and got you really thinking about it, or?
Yeah, there's a couple. One of them was by Wayne. One of them was by Wayne Dyer again.
Shout out to Wayne Dyer again.
Yeah, Wayne Dyer. There's Wayne Dyer. There's The Way of the Superior Man by David Dida.
Yeah, bro. Search up Google a picture of this motherfucker. He looks like a fucking molester, bro. And if you listen to his fucking audiobook, he sounds like one too. But he's got. I've read it. It's a really good book.
Yeah, it's these books that have helped me, I guess, get more connected to that stuff. But I mean, I always tell people that like spirituality and all these books and stuff, it's hard to explain this kind of stuff to people because I feel like it's almost in another realm. It's not something that can be felt at a conscious level, or no, I don't think it's something that can be expressed or explained in a conscious level. I feel like you have to feel it, and I feel like a lot of these books I read and just going on late night walks, meditating, I have felt what these books say. But to consciously try to understand what they say is different. Like you gotta feel what they say.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna transition back to self-development, and I don't know if you've talked about this in any of your fucking videos. I think it's one of the coolest things. There's obviously a lot of cool things about this fucking guy, but this is just another like tab. Obviously, he's fucking ripped. This is Persian sex king. we can see that, right? But one really cool piece of information about Roshi is this guy was a fucking amateur boxer, was fucking kicking ass in the ring. I've held the pads to this motherfucker. He almost took my hand off, nearly broke my wrist. Kind of my question is how has that experience kind of shaped your life? And do you think it played a role in kind of your journey in self-development and your confidence?
Big time. I would say throughout my life, I was just like, I don't know. Throughout my life, I was kind of like a nobody. When I was like a kid, I was never good at anything. Like from the time I remember when I was like in elementary school, I was a type of kid who I didn't play any sports. The kind of things I was interested in was more like just kind of like I wanted to chase thrills. I wanted to do shit like that. Just like I just wanted to do like I was the kind of kid when I was in elementary school, like I wanted to go smoke cigarettes or I wanted to try weed. I wanted to.
Holy, what a fucking weird thrill at elementary.
I'd like shoplift because like at that time
that makes sense.
My older brother and his friend, like I remember the first time I ever seen somebody steal from a convenience store. I was like 7 years old. So I went to the convenience store with my friend and his my older brother and his friend. And I remember I was walking with them. They go to the back of the convenience store and this guy just grabs like an A&W root beer can and puts it like right inside of his crotch. And he just like puts it right in his crotch and just like walks out. And like I was 7 years old and I was like, wait, it's that easy?
Yeah, this is just cool as fuck.
You just put something in your crotch and just walk out.
Yeah.
So, like, so when I was like 7, 8, 9, I would do that a lot. Like I would kind of go to convenience stores, gas stations, and just kind of go walk in.
Fucking 7-year-old with a root beer bottle in his fucking crotch.
Like a Pringles bottle. And like,
they're like, holy, this guy's packing. This 7-year-old's got a fucking massive schlong.
I mean, at that age, like the logic kind of made sense. I'm like, who's gonna go touch your crotch? Who's gonna go look?
Yeah,
at it,
exactly.
So I was like, yeah. So yeah, as a kid, I remember I did that for a little bit. Like I just go to the store because I was like, oh, what the hell? It's so easy.
Yeah.
And there was like a kind of excitement to it, like a kind of like rebellious kind of like, oh, I'm breaking the rules and I'm getting what I want. It's, I don't know. It's kind of like a rebelliousness that I liked. But then I got caught a couple of times and that kind of traumatized me from stealing again.
Yeah, fuck.
But when I was younger, I did that, and I also like to light fires a lot. Like I like to.
I did that too.
Really?
Yeah.
There's just something exciting at a young age to like. We'd steal like lighters and then just go to like a forest and like just light like, shit on fire.
I think kids like that I don't know, like depending on, because with your story and stuff, like you grew up in a really kind of fucked up household. No offense, but I don't want to diss you. He's got a really nice family, you know. Rosie's got a nice mom, you know, good family, but at that time there was a lot of instability in your life.
Yeah.
Do you think that's what kind of fueled this kind of excitement for thrill? And like
not being good at anything, not getting much attention.
Right.
Not that kind of stuff. It's I don't know. I was actually looking into this a little bit because when I was younger, I just there's something so satisfying about lighting stuff on fire, and there's actually a mental condition for it. It's called pyromania. But there's just something about like lighting fires too. It's just like it's such a powerful thing.
Right.
Just like light something up and just burns.
Yeah.
But
back to the amateur boxing.
Yeah. Back to that. We kind of got sidetracked.
Yeah.
But this is gonna like go into that. So basically, I was not good at any sports growing up, like basketball, soccer, and gym class. I sucked ass. So by the time I got to 14 years old, I went and joined a boxing class for the first time in Winnipeg, and that's when I just got obsessed with the sport. And I did it up until I was 17 years old. And in those 3 years, I competed. I traveled. I went to Quebec City. I went to Kansas City. I competed.
That's sick.
And it was the first time I was actually good at something. And that's when I realized how much of a difference it makes when you're actually passionate about something. And by then I had no friends in high school, but I didn't really give a shit. I was like, I have boxing. I have a passion outside of school.
Plus, that's such a macho fucking sport. Like, people were playing soccer, kicking fucking balls around, stuff like that. You were punching people in the fucking face. And that's like, obviously that must have fed into your ego and stuff. And
yeah, but I would say like the ego thing, it's definitely realizing, looking back now, is I've gotten older. I've realized how much ego actually plays a role in sabotaging your success too.
Right.
So it sabotaged my success because I think it made me a lot more scared before fights. Like, it made me a lot more nervous and a lot more afraid to lose. Yeah. And I feel like that burned so much energy. Like, by the time I got into the ring and actually was fighting, I was so like tired and exhausted because of all the mental stress I was putting myself through. Hours before the fight, like replaying in my head, and like I was so nervous, and that burned so much energy. I would run every single morning before school at like 5 a.m. And why the hell am I getting gassed out by like a second round of a fight? It's like, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was just how much mental energy was burning because of that ego. So ego, it helped me a lot, but it also worked against me. But back to what you were saying,
like, how did it play into your confidence and your self-development?
Yeah, self-development, work ethic played a big role. Yeah, it played a big role.
Did you get into a lot of street fights? You fuck people up?
No. I was never really like, I was never a confrontational kind of guy back then.
Did you knock anybody out in the ring?
Yeah, I'll play a video. I have it was a body shot, but I'll play a video.
Holy fuck, I actually want to see that too. How do you deal with criticism and like negative comments? Because obviously what we're doing right now even would be like, oh, I know for a fact some people are going to fucking hate on it. Some people are going to call us pussies, fucking dummies, whatever. Yeah. Maybe me more so than fucking, because you actually have fucking I made this. But how do you deal with the criticism? How do you deal with like the pressure, I guess, of people?
Mm-hmm. When you talk to a lot of people, like I have 7 years of cutting hair, when you've gotten close to a lot of people, you realize that everybody has insecurities. Like, everybody's insecure about something. Yeah. So you're not like, even whoever is making fun of you, whoever's picking on you and stuff, like, they have their own set of insecurities. Everybody's insecure. You know, like, for example, if you ever go on like a first date with like a girl or something, usually you as the guy, you're feeling like nervous and anxious, or like, oh fuck, she's gonna think I'm a weirdo. Yeah. But you got to keep in mind that the girl's thinking the same thing. Yeah. The girl's so busy in her own mind feeling insecure that she's not even gonna notice your insecurities. But yeah, I would say spirituality, and everybody has flaws. Yeah. And third, building a good self-esteem. That's what I would say. Right. Like, you actually accepting yourself for who you are. Yeah, yeah. Because until you don't build that self-esteem, the world is going to feel like a very threatening place. The world's going to feel very fearful. It's going to feel very scary. You're going to be too afraid to speak your mind. You're going to be too afraid to express yourself. Life's going to feel like you're like in a little mind-made prison. So I would say building like that self-worth is very important. Yeah. Because it wasn't until I built my self-worth when I started being able to put myself out there and actually experiment with this kind of stuff or speak my mind the way I'm doing right now. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, fucking, that's, I mean, we've talked about this plenty of times too. Self-esteem, kind of seeing yourself from the third person, which is a really good strategy and something that I think everybody should implement in their lives. I was going to ask, because that was going to be my next question, was, are there any like habits or routines that have like significantly impacted your kind of self-development, or is there anything that kind of you do on a daily basis to kind of really reinforce those ideas? I don't know if there is or not.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not always on top of them as much as I should be, but spending time just alone by yourself with your mind just you and your mind by yourself.
Yeah, just be a fucking weirdo and sit by yourself, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Just sitting alone by yourself, I feel like so many people, there's like actually a famous quote that said, the biggest problem, I'm paraphrasing it, but it's most men's problems would be solved if they'd be able to sit in a room alone by themselves. I think it goes something like that. And the truth is, a lot of us unknowingly run away from our own minds day to day. A lot of us have a lot of us is our own worst critic. We live with a tormentor in our mind. For me, especially, like my mind would attack me, would sabotage me. So for me, unconsciously, just like anybody else, would try to avoid being alone with my thoughts. There's so you'll see yourself running around, being busy all the time for no reason, going on TikToks, hanging out with people you don't even like, dating people you don't even like, doing a job you don't even like, going on vacations you can't afford.
This is like attacking me too, bro. Yeah. I was like, are you like actually trying to throw a jab at me right now? Holy fuck, bro, chill out.
But all with the effort of trying to escape your own mind. So by being able to sit alone in a room by yourself and just face that, you'd actually save yourself a lot of money and time and relationships. So that's what I try to do. I try to take that time, and it doesn't like, it's not like one day it's just going to get easy. It's going to be challenging every time. But the longer you wait to do it, the harder it's going to be. The longer you wait, the more those negative thoughts are going to stack up, and the harder it's going to be to face it. Imagine like seeing like, have you ever seen, like if you look at my phone, if you look at my like notifications, everything's at 0. Like I always check my notifications. I always check everything.
I'm not.
But yeah, sometimes you go on some people's phones and you see they have like 200 unread text messages.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. So like, that's how I look at your mind. Like if you have so many suppressed thoughts, if you don't face your thoughts, basically all that just stacks up into your subconscious mind, causing anxiety, causing fear.
Yeah.
And the more overwhelming those stored away thoughts are, the more you're going to harshly try to avoid it. Because for some people, they're like, dude, I don't even know where to start. Holy fuck. It's just like a big mess. It's like, where do I start? So it's like by consistently cleaning out that inbox in your mind, it's going to be easier to maintain it. The longer you leave it to the side and push it to the side, the more it's going to stack up, the harder it's going to be to clean out later. Yeah. So I try to always like have that time alone, reflect, think about the things I think about, because if you think about it, like imagine like you don't do something that you knew you should have done today. Yeah. You don't do that. Next, you argue with someone over something stupid. Yeah. And then next, you miss an appointment with someone. Next, you do something you said you wouldn't do. Yeah. All of these things, like, you know, your mind is not gonna let you go. It's not gonna let you off the hook. Your mind's gonna remind you. It's gonna be like, hey, Gashi, like, the hell did you do there? Hey, Gashi, you missed this, you missed that. So to avoid that uncomfortable reality, a lot of people will just kind of just partake in escapism.
100%. Yeah, no, I'm the biggest partaker in this fucking issue. Yeah, fuck. But like touching on that a little bit, it was interesting that you mentioned that a lot of people will get into this kind of predicament where they're like, oh fuck, like there's so, like they'll get lost and they act like they don't know what to do. And I mean, I've personally have been through this myself too, where like we think we don't know the answers and then we'll try to get somebody in to come help us. Would you say that people, or most people, and I'm not trying to like generalize everybody, but most people, do you think they know how to fix the problems in their life, but because of what you just said, where they keep throwing things off to the side and they're not really attacking it head on, do you think that's what causes the confusion?
I think a lot of people don't even know where the real problem is. I think that's the main thing. I feel like a lot of people don't realize that the problem is in their own mind. So that's the first thing, like not having awareness over that. Yeah. You're going to be running around your whole life trying to fix this, trying to fix that, trying to fix this relationship, trying to get that job. Yeah. All for the effort to fix what's wrong in the mind. So I would say the first thing that most people have an issue with is not having awareness of where the root of the problem even is, which is in your own mind. So that's what I would say. It's like not knowing that, because you can go years with your life trying to fix external stuff in the hopes that one day it's going to fix your mind, which you're going to realize by the end of that that was never the answer. Yeah. There's a good there's a good story from this one guy. I forgot who said it, but it was like this analogy. So basically, this guy's in his house, the lights go out, and he lost his keys in his house. And he's trying to look for his keys inside of the house, and he can't find his keys. It's dark, he can't see shit. So he looks out the window and he sees a street lamp outside.
Mm-hmm.
And he sees a street lamp outside. There's light outside, so he goes outside and he starts looking for his keys underneath the street lamp. And he just wandering around in circles underneath this light, and somebody comes by and they're like, "Hey, what the hell are you doing?" This guy's like, "Oh, I'm looking for my keys." And the guy's like, "Well, where'd you lose your keys?" And the guy's like, "Oh, well, I lost them inside the house."
Fucking
and he's
dumbass.
like, "So why are you outside looking for your keys if your keys are inside the house?"
Yeah.
So the moral of this story is a lot of people try to fix their internal issues externally, because the light being the example of something flashy, something, because there's light, you perceive that as potentially finding your key. Because, and you can equate that to a lot of flashy stuff in life. Like, for example, I feel depressed right now. Well, instead of going sitting in a room by myself, which is kind of feels depressing, I'm going to go out to the club. The club is an example of that light, that street light outside. So meanwhile, you're going to the club and you're thinking you're fixing your internal issues. Meanwhile, the keys will never be found there because they're inside the house. So.
Right.
So
like going through breakups, you go fucking have a massive hoe phase, you fuck a bunch of bitches. Talking some dirty ones, but you never really do fix the internal problems that are inside.
And so some people go their whole life to realize this by the end. So the sooner you can figure that out, the better off you'll be.
Right. No, I mean, and keep in mind, Roshi, Roshi has told me personally this over the last, I don't know how many years. We've known each other for 4 years. We've become good friends. You've been telling me this too. The same shit. And it definitely has helped me in my personal life. And I see now where it's in other friends' lives where I can see it happen. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, see, that's distracting themselves with the flashy things. Another good question that I actually had, because, we're going back to you and stuff and the journey that you're on now, like, it's obviously evolved over time, a little bit. I've seen it a little bit evolve. And how do you measure your personal growth in your life? Like, what's the measurement that you use?
Mm-hmm. So that's a good question. I was actually thinking about that, because sometimes it could feel like there's never enough,
Yeah.
So for the longest time, I would never set clear goals, and that made me have burnout, because I'm just kind of working, and I don't really know what I'm working towards exactly.
Yeah.
So I would say setting clear goals for me is one thing.
Like, because obviously, like, I don't know if there would be a specific metric to use, but like, in your definition, I know this is a really the fucking like loaded question, but like, what would be your standard, or how would you measure your own personal growth to, like, this self-development journey has been like probably 4 or 5 years in the making, 6 years even. Like, how do you kind of like measure that now?
It's, the thing is like, when it comes to career goals and things like that, I set goals now. And by setting goals, I'm able to kind of visually see how close I am to achieving those things. So I kind of use that. But one thing I do want to say though is, and sometimes I forget this too, but it's equally as important to, as much as you want to advance in your career, it's equally as important to advance mentally. A lot of people neglect one for the other. A lot of people, neglect their mental health or their mindset, and they just pursue work. I've been in that, thing too. I've also been the other way, where I'm just all about mindset and not doing enough work. So I try to maintain both those things. I try to succeed in both those at the same time, because I think they go hand in hand.
So thank you for that. Now we're going to take a little bit of a pivot here, obviously. Fucking attractive dude right here. There's a reason why this guy's name is the Persian Sex Prince. The shit's fucking trademarked again. Since I've known this guy's had many girlfriends, many fucking ladies that he's been interested in. Yeah, sorry, fuck. We're not gonna say anything, but this might get him in trouble. But anyways, how has the self-development journey, everything with spirituality, how has this affected your relationships? Like, are you getting more pussy? You're fucking, you're definitely clapping your balls off a bunch of girls' bum cheeks, right? Like, there's, you're doing some dirty shit. But how have you noticed? How has this affected your relationships? What have you noticed in like when it comes to like sexual partners or partners in general?
For sure, self-esteem. Like it's helped a lot with confidence and self-esteem. I feel like before I was definitely more fearful. I was more afraid to express myself or being vulnerable with women, or even in the pursuing a woman. I was very insecure or insecure and just not sure of myself. I feel like spirituality gives me that confidence. Rejection doesn't feel the same anymore with that, And also the self-development, it's made me realize what I want. So it's put me more in a position to decipher whether this person is good for me or not good for me. Whereas before, when I was younger, it was more just like, well, this person makes me feel good, or I'm attracted to this person, and that's enough to be with them. I feel like with the self-development stuff and where I'm at now, me deciding who I'm going to be with is heavily based on how is this person going to affect my state of mind. Is this person going to bring more peace to my life, or are they going to take away peace from my life? So that's that's how it's helped it. It's almost created like a metric on whether or not.
Yeah. It's giving you like a new standard every time.
Yeah, it's set a bar for me now.
Yeah.
But
you getting more pussy like that?
I would think as a byproduct it does. Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So, mysterious guy painting. But yeah, so it's raised definitely a standard and created a new bar in your, like, when it comes to, your relationships and stuff.
But I would say, sorry, I just want to touch on one more thing.
Oh yeah, my bad.
But I would say I would advise any guy right now, if he's single or something, to try to get good at something, try to get passionate about something, and find something that you love doing and lose yourself in that, and get into self-development, because I don't think any woman wants to be with a guy who likes her for more superficial reasons, purely just because he's attracted to her. I feel like women can kind of feel that off of a guy. If you purely just like her off of her sexual attraction, they can feel that your feelings for them is on a very superficial basis. But when you actually have something going for you, when you actually have goals in life, and you're looking for someone to be a part of that with you, they can also feel that, and it's going to be more attractive, I think, and you will just be able to attract more women on average that way too.
Right. I mean, I personally have come to Roshia a lot over the years about fucking girl problems and stuff like this. So, more or less, he is fucking very qualified to talk about this topic here. Not saying anything, but let's just, Anyways, so, we get into self-development and stuff when we talk about girls, because obviously, as guys, that's kind of one of our biggest things that we're kind of looking for. What do you see, like, what is the number one thing you see guys doing wrong when it comes to this like type of stuff? Like, what do you think? Because obviously you talked about having shit going for you, but is there anything else you notice that guys kind of do wrong with this? Or
with dating, I think a lot of guys don't have like a set priority list in their life. They don't have like a set hierarchy in their life. Like, for example, I see a lot of guys who, for example, their mental state's not even that good. They don't even have clear goals in life. They don't even know where they're going. They don't even have passion or purpose, and they try to pursue a girl.
Right.
What happens is when you're in an unfulfilled place in your life and you try to seek, and this is like goes to both genders, when you're not in a fulfilled place in your life and you try to seek a woman or a guy for girls, naturally that person's going to fill that empty void for you. And when that person fills that empty void for you, you're going to become, the feeling they're going to get off of you is not going to be genuine. It's not going to be like a genuine love. It'll be coming from more of like a needy place. Like you need them, like you're desperate for them, like they're filling a void for you. And they're going to feel that, and that's not really like a good feeling. Yeah. It's almost like a lot of women would know this, I'm sure. Like it's almost like a sixth sense. It's not something maybe they can consciously process, or maybe you can if you're self-aware enough. But it's almost like a feeling you get when you're with a guy and he's with you not because he genuinely wants to be, but because he needs you, because you fill a hole in his life that he's unable to fill for himself.
Right.
And it's also just kind of exhausting, I think, dating somebody like that when you're almost like you're filling like a big void for them.
Yeah. No.
But I would say main thing for a lot of guys is not having a set priority list in their life. They don't have, for example, they don't have any like set goals. They have no, they're not, maybe they don't have any spirituality in their life.
Yeah.
They don't have like a set purpose in their life.
Yeah.
And their life is just out of whack, and they almost look for the girl to possibly come and like fix it for them, fix their life for them, or fill that void for them.
Right. No.
And I feel like if you do that, like, cool, you might be able to get a girl for like a little bit. She might be with you for a couple months. She might feel bad for you, so she might stick around for a bit longer.
Gonna help this bum out.
Yeah, but in the end of the day, I don't think it's gonna last too long. Unless you get someone who also has a void and you guys are both kind of filling each other's void.
Right.
But then it's like...
That's where a toxic relationship would happen?
That's when a toxic relationship would happen.
Oh, okay.
Like if you get two people that are like together because each of them have big voids and they're trying to fill it for one another.
Right.
Then you're going to have a lot of fear in that relationship and a lot of manipulation, a lot of toxicity coming from that. And you can do that if you want to. I know a lot of people who do that, but that's but if you're somebody who wants to like, if you have like big goals or you want to live like a certain kind of lifestyle, I wouldn't say that's like the best kind of relationship to go by. I've actually been in like those kind of relationships too when I was younger.
Fuck.
So I'm not like saying like I've always been like this. I've learned my lessons, but I've been in relationships in the past where I was very insecure. I had voids to fill. She was very insecure. She had voids to fill. So we were both codependent on one another.
Right.
And yeah.
Yeah. That's fucking...
And in the process of being codependent on someone, there's always like that fear of losing that person. And when that fear is so overwhelming, you're going to resort to manipulating that person to keep them. You're going to resort to doing toxic things to keep them because the thought of losing them, you literally feel like a piece of you will die if they leave. So you fight for it like your life depends on it. And in the process of fighting for it, you will end up manipulating, you will end up being toxic to keep that person. And I don't really want to be in a relationship like that where I have to manipulate or trick someone or just do those things to keep someone. I want to be in a relationship now at this point in my life where they're free to come and go. They're with me because they want to be, and they're with me for good reasons, not because they need me or because I need them.
Yeah,
so.
Shout out to my ex. The easier said than done, obviously, telling a guy, yo, get your shit together, get fucking something going, obviously. But, that what you just said, you've read books, models by, what was his name?
Mark Manson,
yeah, which said the number one killer of attraction is neediness. Kind of touching on that subject a little bit.
One thing I want to do, though, is I want to make...
Now, we're getting to the fucking juicy part. We're getting into the juicy part of this. Here we go. Tits or ass? Tits or ass? I'm gonna guess. What? Knowing you. What? I feel like it's tits.
Yeah.
I feel like it's tits.
That's funny.
There's something good about like a nice pair of fucking big tits. Because even yesterday I was at a Christmas party. Some fucking nice round pepperonis on this one bitch. Anyways.
I feel like my mom's gonna be on live.
Oh fuck.
No.
Shit, okay. Hi Mama Roshi. Sorry about the inappropriate question. Fuck, whoops. Okay. Where was I going with this one? Okay, what's the freakiest thing the Persian sex prince has done in bed? I know you've done some wild shit, bro.
Surprisingly, dude, I'm actually not that freaky. Actually.
Really?
No, I'm not. No.
You're like more into like the romance type of stuff, right?
I'm definitely more of the romantic type, but I think that I did want to save that really freaky stuff for the person that I end up getting married to.
Really?
Okay. Yeah.
You know what the thing is? Most people think it's the fucking opposite because they'd be like, bro, like I don't want to taint this fucking person. Because like, what if you want to do some fuck that, like she want like eat my ass, like some weird shit like that. Like that's what I mean.
Well, no, I feel like if I did it the other way around, when I do get married, I'll always be thinking about the ones that
Oh,
I
like the
get
crazy
stuff
shit.
with.
Yeah, that does make sense, honestly.
I'll always be thinking about that. So I feel like if I end up doing that with the person I get married to, I feel like that would make our bond a little bit more stronger.
Yeah,
But yeah, I've been, I've told you my thing about like romance and stuff like that. It's more like psychological for me.
bro, fucking
Even, like,
get in their brain.
Even like sexual attraction and all that kind of stuff. I feel like for me, a lot of sexual attraction, for me and for the people I've been with, a lot of it has been heavily like psychological.
Yeah, you want to fucking manipulate them a little bit?
No.
Not
Don't say
okay.
that
Sorry,
shit,
I
dude. Come
fucking
on,
not
man.
manipulate. Like
Fuck.
entice. Like get the vibes going a little bit.
Well, I mean, for me, I do think that like when you don't really have that psychological attraction for someone, you do have to make up for it more by being, doing all that other extra shit.
Yeah.
But I feel like if someone's really into you psychologically,
Yeah.
you don't have to. I mean, you could still do that stuff. You don't have to be reliant on that stuff.
No, of course, yeah. So yeah, fuck. Have you done anal?
No, I don't think I'd ever do it, honestly.
Really? You're not going in that? No, you're not going in the fucking brown a little
I
bit.
don't
You don't
think
want to
so.
explore that side. It's not a. It's. I'll let you know right now. It's not a fun place to explore. It's for both
Maybe
parties.
with my wife or something.
Yeah, maybe with your wife.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, this question, I guess we're already tied into fucking one of the first ones. What strategies does the Persian sex prince employ in the bed to get the pussies tingling a little bit? To get him wet a little bit.
Shit, dude. I don't know, man. I don't know if people know this, but I went 2 years celibate.
Fuck.
Celibate.
By choice.
Just for fun. Just to.
How was that fun?
I just did it just to prove a point. I was like, I just want to see if I could do it, so I'll do it.
Yeah.
So in that 2 year layoff, I feel like I've definitely lost a lot of my game in that layoff.
Yeah, of course.
So like I wouldn't say I'm like a really skilled person in that department.
Yeah.
I do plan on sharpening those skills more with, let's say, the next person that I intend on like fully being with, just because
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel like if I cross all those boundaries with someone, especially now, I feel like there'd be such like an attachment built.
Yeah, of course.
And I feel like I don't want to like do all that shit with someone and then break up with them and then
Go through all of that fucking weird heartache stuff.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, there you go. That was going into the next question. What's the sex prince's favorite positions in bed? I'll guess. I'll fucking guess.
What?
I'll guess. Bro, you are for sure fucking balls to the wall. You want that girl to ride you like a fucking horse, bro.
That one is
Or doggy, because you want to definitely clap your fucking nuts off her butt cheeks. You want to hear that?
I'm more romantic though. So
Okay.
So if you think about it, that's more like missionary.
That's mission. Oh, there you go. Face to face, right? There you go. You really look into their eyes, right there, bro. Look at those eyes. Imagine that staring at you in bed, bro. Girl's like, holy fuck, she's fully submitted, bro. Are you okay? For those that don't know, Roshi, the man over here, is Afghani. Are you a patriotic Afghani? And if so, will you join the Taliban?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I would. But who knows, right? What if I just become like crazy one day and I just have like a whole epiphany?
Yeah,
So
you see his beard go
I'll
down to here.
always keep that option open.
Yo, government agencies watching. I am not affiliated with them. I'm not joining the Taliban. Okay, yeah, fuck. Well, fucking, this has been the interview, fucking with Rosh the man, and fuck, tune in for next time, bro.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, man.
Here you go, bro. Oh. Bro, I gotta fucking piss so badly. Were a lot of people watching?